So this was built around the same time as the Imambara, started by Asif Ud-Daula as a residence for the British representative of the East India Company. But now it includes all the area which was below the hill also. Post-independent Indians left it as a symbol of to anyone not to mess with the Lucknowites ever again, because then your residence will be reduced to this.
What is it?
Yes. So the residence of the East India Company representative was under siege during the mutiny. The British call it mutiny, but Indian historians have renamed it as the First War of Independence. So this is Bailey Garrard, named after the resident who was appalled that there was no security around in front of the residence. So what you see as a garden, I would say, there were lots of little cottages and homes of other families that were facilitating the life of the resident here. I don't know if the wood of the gate is still original, but this is the very special Lakhori brick. So it's very thin, and it has rubies and pearls and marsh ki dal and I don't know glue.
Did you find any ruby?
So now of course it's just one floor and roofless, but before it was in the 3-storied high. Sir Henry Lawrence, who was actually killed by the rebels, he was rather cosmopolitan. So if you go to another part of the residency, you still see a temple and a mosque. So he allowed the local villagers who were living here from before, he didn't uproot them. So you have remnants of not just the British residents' occupation of this space, but also local people. So there's a very rundown old mosque. Here was the medical doctor. Then you have a little post office.
Like a consultant.
Yes, it was away from the natives.
Away from the natives. So you are all
And on the highest point, on the highest hill in the city,
this is the highest. This is
Yes.
the highest point in the
Yeah. Yes. So you could look down upon what the locals were up to. No, I mean literally look down from, because on a hill. But what is annoying is their greed, for more and more wealth, more and more land. So I think the mosque is somewhere this side. I mean, this is huge, and that is a little museum. If you want to go in, it was part of, it was used as something more useful, and then in independent India, this building was made into a museum. So I don't know whether you want to keep strolling outdoors or go in. I think the condition of museums all over India is not very attractive. So but that also it was talked about in a talk yesterday at the festival, because the philosophy of the Indus Valley civilization and Hinduism is that world is Maya, everything is an illusion. So why give so much importance to anything and treat it and put it in a case and exhibit it and spend so much, because everything passes away. So the concept of timelessness, that we are bound by morning, evening and night, which is a man-made timetable. But in the monotheistic religions, which are now dominant in the Western civilization, there is a beginning and an end, so the world was created in 7 days and there's heaven and hell. So they probably don't accept that you after you stop breathing, you vanish into thin air. You become part of ash to ash. The monotheistic religions try to hold on to individual memories, and therefore the concept of the grave. But once you burn the body, then you vanish back into air, fire, earth, water. But the monotheistic religion, they try to pretend you are not gone. So they go and make a garden around your grave, and so that concept of building cenotaphs and memorials to the dead, pretending that the dead is not dead, also leads to the invention of museums, of preserving everything, of wanting to remember the past so vividly. So I think that, or maybe it's just sheer bureaucratic laziness or the poverty, but I think it's also the mindset is different for the Oriental mindset and the Occidental mindset is we don't feel the need to preserve, with such passion. During the 10-month siege, there were about 2,000 Europeans here. All the Europeans scattered in Kanpur, and whoever could make it were given refuge here. And only, I think, by the end of the 10-month siege, I think 300 or so survived, and they were like skeletons because they hardly had anything to eat. They had run out of supply. The British won this war by the breadth of a hair. It was, and that is why they became very vicious after their victory, and they demolished all of Kaisar Bagh, and they wanted, there's a book called Colonial Lucknow, and it said they had a 3-point program. The Lucknow must be safe, Lucknow must be clean, and Lucknow must be governable. So they broke the by-lanes and made, long avenues where you could not run away after doing any kind of mischief or thievery. So that is colonial Lucknow, which right now we are still in medieval Lucknow. So as soon as you go to Hazratganj and to the cantonment, because then they converted this imperial capital into a military headquarters. And they took, I don't know how many, they grazed down several villages and made it into a cantonment, which is also very beautiful. So, and this Lucknow was the headquarters of the Northern Military Command. Then the Post and Telegraph was invented. It became the headquarters of the Northern Postal headquarters. Railway was invented, so it became the headquarters of Northern Railways. So politically, socially, culturally, it has been very, very important. And because there were so many Englishmen working in this area as collectors, so they needed schools, because they didn't want their children to be traveling with them in the countryside especially. So it became a city of education. So wonderful university, lovely colleges, and the British students, the children of the British families, they mostly lived in the boarding of these schools. So it became an educational center, and that then led it to also become the headquarters of the freedom struggle. So if you notice, several prime ministers have been from this part, Lucknow, Allahabad, Feroz Gandhi from Rai Bareli, because it became, the headquarters, because it was the center of education, where people learnt about socialism and how to organize social movement. But they're not going to cement because something hit the resident of that time, Sir Henry Lawrence, on his thigh. He was retiring, he was preparing to go to bed. And just when he lay down on the bed, something through the window came and hit him on the thigh. And then he survived 14 days and died. But there's also descriptions, of his shrieks and pain, which used to disturb, the other. And it was the surgeon's wife who was taking care of him. She was with him when he died. So maybe they tried even to get rid of the residency and raise all the buildings at some stage, but they're so solid that it was very difficult. It would have cost a lot of money to destroy it. So it was just left like a beautiful garden. Yes.